and boom goes the dynamite.
Welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show. This is the Daily Dive. I'm your host, Michael Karvelis. To everyone on the West Coast, good morning. And to everyone on the East Coast, good afternoon. It's time for lunch and lacrosse talk. On today's show, we're going to get to tonight's playoff game. Yes, the conference finals do begin tonight between the Roughnecks and the Mammoth in Colorado. We'll also get to our big guest in our second segment, which is Callum Crawford. He's going to talk to us about a heartbreaking loss of Panther City, their season as a whole, his future in the NLL, and more. And, of course, our last brew by B-Riz Coffee Company, code Daily Dive at checkout. Who is the best goalie left in these playoffs? Our show is sponsored by our store. Go to Daily Dive Lax on social media and click the link tree, and there you will see the Our Store tab. When you tap that, you'll get every bit of merchandise with this logo on it. It's the best way to support the show as we grow the game. Speaking of games, game one is tonight. It's very rare we get to talk about Thursday lacrosse. We didn't talk about a game on Thursday, but here we are. It's Calgary Roughnecks at the Colorado Mammoth. So, in terms of the season matchups, Calgary won the last two meetings, although Colorado did win the first one in January. But in February, at Calgary won 13-9. And then in Colorado in March, on March 10th, 16-10. So Calgary's got the upper hand in these last two matchups. To get to this point in the quarterfinals, Calgary defeated Panther City 12-9 after trailing 9-8 entering the fourth quarter. Calgary this season has been led by Jesse King, who had 100 points this season, including 42 goals. And, of course, goalie Christian Del Bianco, who had 1,080 minutes, which is a goalie record, a 9.28 goals against average, which was 81% save percentage. They also have the do-it-all Swiss Army knife, Zach Currier, who had 33 points, 228 loose balls, 43 cost turnovers, and 18 blocked shots. Calgary also has Eli Salama, who is 26 years old and finished with only 9 points, but was second in the team with 116 loose balls, had 38 cost turnovers of his own, and 15 blocked shots. He also took 110 face-offs, which was pretty impressive. They had 3 guys take 100 or more face-offs. Now, for Colorado, they, of course, beat San Diego, the Mighty Seals, last week, 13-12, and they led 7-2 in the second quarter. So as you can tell, it appears that while Calgary was trending this way at the end of the game, Colorado held on for dear life and probably trended this way. But, of course, we'd like to think that Colorado was playing the tougher team. At least that's what it seems like. So Colorado this season, in the regular season, although they had a bunch of injuries, Eli McLaughlin, a.k.a. the Liger, had 82 points, 65 loose balls. Ryan Lee, who only played in 6 games, of course, because he started the season with an injury, had 39 points in those 6 games, which is 6 points or more a game. But he only had 6 goals, which means he had 33 assists, which means he was peppering and passing it. But with those 39 points also came 29 turnovers. So I wonder if he's going to trim that down a little bit in this game. As for Colorado on the defensive end, of course, you have Dylan Ward, who had 11.25 goals against average. Now, this is where I get into why this game can be very competitive late, and so don't turn off the TV after the first half. Of course, this game will be tonight at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus for us American folk, and it'll be on TSN regular in Canada. So Colorado this season was 2-7 on the road. They were 7-2 at home, though, which is insane. Colorado, in the first quarter, scored 31 goals. Second quarter scored 49. Third quarter was 51, and the fourth quarter was 58. So it was no surprise that they were able to step it up in the fourth quarter when needed. As for Calgary, they were 51-63, 46 in the third quarter, 57 in the fourth quarter. So Calgary's defense might lock down, but that's also at the expense of their offense. We know Pat Gregor on yesterday's conference finals preview helped us talk about Calgary's second half adjustments. To be fair, they were fantastic against Panther City and, of course, all season long. But in this game, here's what you're looking at betting-wise. Calgary's favored by 1.5 on the road against a good home team. The total is set at 22.5. I believe you might stress this very late, and so I would recommend staying up. But my best bet is over 22.5, and I believe Colorado wins 13-11. In fact, over 22.5 is at plus 100. So it's not like you're like losing money. Like it means like if this hits, you're like basically getting back what you would have put down, which is really incredible in terms of totals, especially in lacrosse. And of course, that plus 120, I don't know if I would do the plus 120 because, listen, we went 8-0 last week, and that included 4-0 bets. So I would like to say that Colorado wins this game and just do the plus 120. But if I had to put a life on the line, world on the line thing here, it would be over 22.5. I don't know if I can do plus 120. The fact you're getting plus 100 on the total is pretty stinking awesome, and you can't pass that up. So if you got to choose one or the other, do this one right here, the over. Again, I do think Colorado wins game one. We will recap this game tomorrow to start the show, obviously. And, of course, we'll preview game two, which will be Saturday in Calgary. But this game is in Denver. The next two, if necessary, are in Calgary. Interesting stuff there. Coming up next, we're talking lacrosse with the people that play the game. Callum Crawford, an NLL legend and friend of the show, returns after this to talk Panther City and more. We'll be right back. Joining me now is Panther City forward and, of course, lacrosse legend Callum Crawford. Callum, welcome back to Daily Dive. I appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Now, Callum, you've been in the league since 2006, and I wanted to give an updated career stat line for you. You've got 1,193 career points in 244 regular season games. And you're now up to 58 playoff points, which is absolutely insane. Had 4 more last week despite a heartbreaking loss. I just want to say congrats to you on what's still been an amazing career, regardless of winning or losing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I do have to first get to this part because I don't know if I can't show the video here, but you look very spry and ready to play in this game. There was one time where you were skipping around. I was like, this guy's got a lot of energy. How did you find that energy at 38 years old in this game?
Nothing. That's what we play all season for, was an opportunity to play in that game. I was excited. we always talk about leaving it on the floor whenever you play a game, and every game and whatnot. For me, I think stakes are a little bit higher when I play these games, in the sense of I never know when it's going to be my last. I'm not saying that was, but you never know. So for me, there was an extra motivation with wanting to be able to look myself in the mirror, be able to look at my teammates afterwards, and my coaches, the people who brought me in and have faith in me, and everything that I gave them, everything I had, and the best of me. So that may have been why I think I played a little bit more like everybody was used to seeing me play throughout my career, in the sense of an athletic attribute. Body felt good. I've been battling some nagging injuries all season for the most part, to be honest, since even training camp in New York. So I think it was a combination of things. So there was a lot there, but no, definitely I watched the film. I watched the game myself a couple of times, and I looked, the approach to how I was playing was different for sure.
Interesting. And you're right, that is what we play for, what you guys play for is the playoffs. I want to ask you about the locker room scene that we've seen on social media from Panther City. You guys look absolutely devastated. I know how much you guys wanted to get back to this Calgary team finally, and you were so close at the end. What was the feeling like in that locker room, especially with all the young guys? Can you describe those emotions that were felt during that time?
Yeah, I think it was emotional for a lot of people. Different reasons for each person. I think there was, no, not even I think, I know there was a genuine belief, not just going into the game, but I think during that game, that we belonged, that we could, and probably some people may feel should have won that game. And I think to be at that high of belief, and I don't think until the very, very end, anybody stopped believing. I think there was no process throughout the game to get that emotional dump of realizing you weren't winning it. So I think you saw it more in the locker room, because until that buzzard went, everybody was still believing. And I think our game dictated that we believed and we could have won that as well. So I think that's a lot of probably why you saw the emotion as much as you did in the locker room afterwards. I think everybody takes it harder, but when you don't have the process of the game to accept that you have lost this game, sometimes you've lost it, as early as the second quarter sometimes and whatnot. We didn't have that. We didn't lose that game till the very end. So I think that's a lot of it. Is just the emotional dump happened at that end in that locker room, and you guys got to see it.
I want to give you guys credit, because that was an amazing game. I know there was a lot that maybe did not think Panther City did belong until they saw the final results of that game. In terms of Calgary that you guys have seen now, of course, they're still alive. What did you see from Calgary that you think could set them apart from other teams moving forward?
I think their coaching is fantastic. I think they have such a great coach. And his staff around them, and his players believing in their process and doing things. So I think Mouse gives them an opportunity to win at all times. He's very smart, very dedicated. I've never had the pleasure of being coached by him or have even a social relationship with him, but he's somebody I respect, and I think he provides that team an opportunity every time. Then they have players. Jesse King is one of the best players in the world. Tyler Pace, when he's there, is special. He was probably the difference in our game. They've got some defensive back end guys who can make plays. Their goalies, unbelievable. Josh Courier, Zach Courier, both of them, man. They have a deep roster of people who can play anywhere and everywhere, and they've got the coaching to go with it. So they're a good team. They've always been a good team, but so are the other three. So
That's a good point.
I honestly couldn't tell you who's going to win this. A lot of times you root for the team that beat you, because that lets you believe maybe you could have. But yeah, I'm so torn between this thing, and I'm excited to watch. It's going to be fun tonight.
I was going to say, we got playoff lacrosse on Thursday. I'm happy. So I want to touch on one more thing about Panther City. You played not the whole season, but you played a good 10 games with this team. And there's a lot of youth and a lot of amazing future talent on this team. What did you learn from the young guys, and what did you see that really impressed you and stuck out to you for Fort Worth, Texas fans moving forward for this team?
I think the biggest thing is our defense trusting and being as coachable as they were through our defensive coaching, through the concepts and everything. Because when you look at it, there's definitely some gems there. But I think preseason, looking at that group of names, maybe not ability, but names, you would have been questioning how good this defense is. I think they did a great job of being coachable, applying what they were coached, and then proving their actual ability and worth. I thought our back end did a really good job this season. Obviously, our goaltending was good. So that was a big, I didn't, preseason and whatnot, I would not have looked at Panther City as one of the best teams in the league, a playoff team or anything. When I got there, my impression of everybody changed. I knew they had some pieces and individuals, but it was such a great collective group. And their willingness to do what they were asked. And I think that was really special. Coaches had game plans, and those game plans were changing, and we were adjusting, and everybody wanted to know and understand what their responsibility, what they needed to do to fall in line with what the team needed, versus anybody at any single point being like, man, I'm just going to do me. And that happens a lot in professional sports. And there are players who've earned the right to be able to do that. Right. That wasn't this group. And maybe it's because it's a group who haven't earned that right yet. And maybe that's why. But that's why we were able to be as good as we were, is we were a group. And I think people at times may, I heard the narrative of, well, 3 of their wins came against Vegas, 3 of their wins came against Vancouver, and that's why they're in the playoffs. And maybe so. But that team you saw on Saturday night last week, that's a playoff team that deserved to be there. And I don't think anybody can question that.
I agree with that, what you said, because especially I had a line for Panther City this year. I called you guys the pesky purple cats. Like, because of the defense, it was just so amazing watching a group of young guys, and of course Callum Crawford, just be so great collectively. Like you said, Nick Damon was awesome as well. So I appreciate you sharing insight on that, because it's an underrated part of every sport is defense, and it shows up in the playoffs for sure. We got to see that on full display. And I do have to ask you about your future. I know you're 38 years young, and you look like you still got it. But what is, not like a retirement announcement here, but what does your future look like in professional lacrosse? I know you said Panther City before is close to your home, which is great for lacrosse players, but what is your future like?
I honestly don't know. There's conversations that need to be had, obviously organization and stuff that we haven't had a chance to have yet. I'm not leaning one way or the other. Obviously, the retirement talk is something that at my age has to be a potential conversation. I think a lot of it goes into support of my family, business. What does everything look like? And part of that last game for me personally, obviously, it was trying to win a championship and everything, but do I even still belong here? So that was a question I needed answered as well. And that's always going to be good, because I don't want to be a player that hangs around when he doesn't belong just because he's chasing something he doesn't have. So there's a lot of me figuring out, and, if I'm going to continue to play, I have to train a certain way all off season and do things. And am I willing to do that? And so on. So, honestly, I don't know. Sorry, I can't answer that question of what that future looks like. I'm eager to find out myself. I think there's a lot just for my own personal life. Knowing what I'm going to be doing will allow me to do a lot of things and plan for a lot of things. So, I honestly don't know. I love the game. I love this league. I love the team that I've played with. I love everything. So I hope I can still do it. I just need to figure it out.
I'm excited. I'm not questioning if you can still do it. It's just a matter of, like you said, championship and, of course, hanging around. We've seen it with players in the past. But I'll tell you what, I've grown to learn in the ring culture that really sometimes just being a great player is sometimes enough for fans, for me at least. But I appreciate everything you've been with lacrosse, and I support you with whatever you do going forward. And I appreciate you once again for joining this show. It's been awesome all season seeing you and then having you on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I enjoy being here.
Absolutely. You enjoy your future, and we'll see you next time, Callum.
I will. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Callum Crawford, everybody. I've always respected. So, again, these are great players. These are great athletes. And it's amazing seeing them come on a show like Daily Dive. I'm not gonna act like we're like cream of the crop right now, but it's awesome seeing those legends be so down to earth. And Again, I love seeing it. It makes me appreciate their sport even more. But I wish that man the best. Again, it looked like he still got it to me. So I'm glad he was able to shed some insight on just an incredible season for that young team, both players and franchise, and of course other things as well. And hey, Calgary and Colorado's tonight. Whew. And we come back. Speaking of legends, there are 4 legends left in these playoffs, and they might be the best in the league. We'll talk about the goalies next on Daily Dive. Welcome back to Daily Dive here on social media and, of course, our YouTube channel where 40 people have subscribed, and we thank you so much for all that you do. Follow us on social media, Daily Dive Lax, and when you do, click the link tree. You'll see B-Res Coffee Company, a quick link for them, but the key here is promo code Daily Dive at checkout. They've got the best flavors in coffee. It's coffee for gamers, by gamers, and, of course, lacrosse and Daily Dive fans. Just a little sprinkle right there. Again, tonight we got the Roughnecks and the Mammoth. And so far on our Twitter feed, we got 12 votes in. And Colorado has got 67% of the votes. That's, I believe, 8-4. Hey, not bad for the Mammoth. They're 7-2 at home. Pretty amazing record. Now, Calgary's no slouch on the road, but you get it. And, of course, my best bet was over 22.5 because of the late push both these teams might have. And, of course, Colorado plus 120. I don't care which one you take of those. I'm just going to say I like this one. But if I'm feeling frisky, I'm not mad at either one. But that's just it's my best bet regardless. You get it. And, again, we went 8-0 last week, including 4-0 on our best bets. So that's good. It's really good. All right, so who is the best goalie left? And the reason this conversation comes up because no offense to Nick Demuth, who's been amazing. No offense to Ron Hartley. No offense to Alex Bouquet, America's goalie. We're going to talk about Nick Rose, Matt Vince, Dylan Ward, and Christian Del Bianco. One of these guys has an MVP possibility this year if voting goes his way. One of them is a championship goalie from last year. One of them is an ageless wonder in Matt Vince. And one of them not only has a great catchphrase in Rosie, but probably was one of the best goalies, if not the best goalie all season long. These might be the best goalies left in the NLL, and they're playing in the playoffs. They're the 4 remaining goalies. It's absolutely insane. We wish them nothing but the best. But I got to ask, who's got the advantage here? And I posed this question on Twitter. I will try to find it. 23 votes here. And with 4.5 hours left, Nick Rose got 4% of these votes, which is probably 1. Christian Del Bianco leads at 43%, Matt Vince at 35%, and Dylan Ward at 18%. But I'll tell you that Del Bianco love is there. I picked Matt Vince. And I'm going to tell you why I picked Matt Vince as my best goalie left. House money. I believe Matt Vince has the most drive to win this game, to win this playoffs. I do believe that he may not be the best one left. You could argue he might be the 4th best goalie left in terms of playoff goalies. But I believe Matt Vince is 40 years old and wants this. You saw Callum Crawford talk about the need for a championship, how much he wants a championship. Like, you can see that seeping through the very existence of Callum Crawford. Well, Matt Vince, like I said, 40 years old, has also been in the league since 2006. He does have 3 championships, all with the Rochester Nighthawks. but he has 4 losses, including 2 with the Bandits. How grateful would he be, and more importantly, the city of Buffalo be, if he could just get over the hump in Buffalo? This guy is a legend. Matt Vince is awesome. I cannot wait to see how he does. But I'm telling you, you pick either of these 4, you're not going wrong. I am shocked that more Toronto fans did not vote, because again, 4% for Nick Rose is absolute blasphemy, because I believe he had better numbers than Christian Del Bianco. Like, yeah, if you see the block shots numbers on the Roughnecks, you would see what I'm saying. Why is Del Bianco getting any more love than Nick Rose? And the question was, which goalie do you trust the most? Not who's the best, who do I trust? I trust Matt Vince because of up here. Not because of all this. We know every last one of them, you can pick your poison. I don't care which one you pick. But up here is where it counts. One of them has MVP aspirations. One of them is a playoff nightmare in Dylan Ward. One of them is Nick Rose, who was incredible this season. And one of them is hungry. So I picked Matt Vince. Again, that made no sense whatsoever, but you absolutely get it. And you have to get it because it's my show. It's Daily Dive. But again, I'm just so happy that we got playoff lacrosse tonight. And tonight, of course, Christian Del Bianco leads the Roughnecks into Colorado, into Ball Arena in Denver, into the place where you can't breathe. And they're playing the Mammoth, the defending champions. Also, something else about this thing. How about this? Mammoth head coach and NLL Hall of Famer Pat Coyle won championships as a player over the Roughnecks coach Kurt Malofsky in 1999, 2000, and 2003. Toronto defeated Rochester in each of those. That's insane. And also, we know that these guys, listen to this. Calgary and Colorado have met in the playoffs the last 3 seasons held. 2018, Calgary, 15-12 at Colorado. 2019, Calgary won 8-4 at home. And last year, this is insane. These teams are, it could possibly go under, but again, those fourth quarter adjustments are going to be insane for both these teams. I expect an awesome game. I'm picking Colorado, but I would not be surprised either way. I would hope we get a 3-game series for our sakes. I hope both series go 3 games. Wow, this is going to be a great game tonight. Please tune in and watch us as we watch the game with you. Should I do it like a live stream? I don't want to tease that now because it sounds like kind of like premature, but I want to do like a live stream tonight on the Daily Dive Lax Instagram page. I think it'd be fun. But just my live reaction to it all. Oh, 9:30 Eastern. Will I see you? Why not? Let's do that. Let's do it. Let's do a live stream on Daily Dive Lax on Instagram, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about it, or we could do YouTube. I'll figure it out. We might have to do Instagram. I'm gonna have to bring a friend along. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Daily Dive. Callum Crawford interview will be posted on YouTube in full. And thanks so much once again for tuning in. For you, the fans, for great guests like Callum Crawford, for tomorrow's guest and Cooper Perkins. Seals also lost. I feel sorry for these guys. And also for everyone behind the scenes, I'm your host, Michael Karvelis. Thanks so much again for tuning in. This is Daily Dive. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. Enjoy the playoffs tonight. We're out.